Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast.
Hey, that's the most normal one I think you've ever done.
Yeah, we're just getting back to the normalities of what it is to podcast and what a real podcast sounds like.
Oh,
right?
So we're going to be boring again?
Quick, to the point. It's a podcast. You're listening to it. Thank you.
Anyways, Dusty, I have a new ministry idea, and I could not wait to tell you because this goes right up my alley, and I feel you could join me.
Oh, no. You're talking about rest, and now you're trying to recruit me for something.
Bait you into something.
All right,
now,
what is it?
My new ministry idea. Mm-hmm. I want to be a mercenary evangelist. So you know what a mercenary does, right?
Yeah.
They get paid to go do stuff that other people don't want to do.
What kind of Netflix show are you watching? And you're like, how can I turn this?
Actually, this was a John Piper sermon.
Okay.
A John Piper sermon labeled or titled Make War. And man, he was going off on people. He was giving the sermon that pastors don't want to give.
Oh, okay.
And so that's really what a mercenary evangelist would do. They would go into churches and give the sermons that pastors don't want to give.
Oh, so you're not like holding a gun to somebody and saying, believe in the Lord or else?
I mean, you can, 100%.
Okay.
But, why limit the scope of a mercenary evangelist? Mm-hmm. So if they want to hold a gun to somebody, okay, if it brings them to Jesus.
So you're saying, and you're trying to pull me in, who's a super passive person.
Yes.
You're trying to pull me into this. We're going to go and we're going to just like...
Make everyone mad at us.
Here's how it works though, right? Because a mercenary usually is hired by somebody.
Right.
And so it's going to be the pastor that's like, hey guys, I need you to come here to my church and do this sermon. But I need you to talk about this subject because, these people really need it. And
because I'm too afraid to.
And I can't because I will get shot. But they're not going to shoot you. And I can be like, sorry guys, I had no idea this is what this guy was going to talk about.
Exactly. I mean, the tent revivals, they need a speaker. All right, we come in and we give the hellfire and brimstone sermons, and we're out of there. We never see those people again.
Well, the cool part about that too, Andrew, is we'd only have to write like 1 to 2 sermons.
Exactly.
And we just go around on a tour.
Yes. And, my dad's really good at, when he was a pastor, he was really good at making people mad, so we just steal his sermons.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to write anything.
Well, your dad also... We just take other people's sermons and sometimes say, hey, I'm just going to preach it in the first person with this guy.
What's funny is we actually were sitting around the fire last night and we talked about that. And I was like, Dad, Dusty and I have talked about you numerous times on our show. We always knew what you'd preach just by jumping in the car with you on a Wednesday.
Yeah. And then, I stole that same idea.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, like if I'm going to preach on this, I'm going to listen to people smarter than me.
Exactly.
I love that.
And if they've already preached it, then why reinvent the wheel?
But we live in a world today now that we would preach that sermon once and then it's on TikTok.
Yeah,
and then everybody would kind of know. So we'd have to do like the whole turn your cell phones in.
Yeah.
No recording.
Right.
For this mercenary sermon. That's crazy.
But, we'll get clip farmed and then people will see us and we'll get more invites. But
what I mean is then we'd have to write more sermons.
You're right.
We need more material.
Well, that just means ChatGPT has to write more for us.
I had heard that was like the hard part of being a comedian versus being a musician is a musician can write 2 hits.
Yes.
And sing them for the rest. The Creed's coming, like their Creed comes back, they sing the same songs they've always sang. Does a nice little comeback tour, make a lot of money.
Right.
Comedians, a little harder for them just to go around and tell the same jokes, especially when people have already heard them.
Yes.
Like Nate Bargatze talked about how he usually kind of has brand new set once his special releases because why is he going to go around and do the special jokes?
The thing that's
even though that they'll be requested, they'll be like tell the milk joke, but it's like come on guys, you already know the punchline.
Exactly.
Like
you know the setup, you know the punchline, like why?
You listen to it on the way here, like that's kind of thing. Yeah. So we'd have to, come up with some new material.
Anyways,
or
is that not a great ministry idea? I mean, I think it is.
For you.
I'm really good at making people mad at me, especially unintentionally, but I'll go in and tell people to tithe more.
Whoa. You're really good at making, I'm good at making people unintentionally mad at me. You're good at making people
I'm pretty sure I said
you intentionally.
I am, but I'm pretty sure I said sometimes unintentionally.
Yeah, but it's but your spiritual gift is the intentional. Let's get that.
I don't
clear.
see that spiritual gift in the Bible, but
you saw the ability to pick a fight and you ran to it, and you're trying to pull God in and say, "This is my calling, Dusty. Go with me."
Exactly.
This is the Bible Belt Bros calling. We are the.
We're gonna make people mad at us. Come on, Dusty.
Yeah, it's what we do. It's who we are. It's what we do.
I mean, we already have a somewhat platform that we could start on. I mean, I'm sure, well, you've seen some of the comments. Some people are already mad at us because, we don't give a whole lot of spiritual knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
So we're already good at it.
I don't think we've ever wanted to be that.
That's true.
That's too much.
But also, I don't feel we intended this to be a comedy podcast, and somehow it is.
Well, we're just funny dudes.
We're just stupid.
Man. We're just.
That's it.
All right. Well, you brought the topic of spiritual rest or godly rest.
Right, godly rest.
And so, what kind of?
So this is another sermon I heard. Man,
okay,
everything's coming from
being like
sermons.
your dad, just listening to a sermon, and now you want to do. Okay.
So we've kind of talked about this with the burnout podcast. We talked about going ahead, taking a break, taking a sabbatical, mark a no on your availability times. And so this kind of goes along with that one. But I was down in Florida for a convention. And while I was there, we went and found this church that's part of the Send Network. Let's go ahead and plug the Send Network. Thank you, Rusty Gunn, for letting me know. Now, it was a little tough to find this church because on their website, it says they're at this one location. Mm-hmm. Well, my convention took up the entire convention center plus 3 of the surrounding hotels, including this hotel where they meet. They meet in one of the rooms in the hotels, like one of the big...
Yeah, conference
rooms, yeah. And, well, my convention had booked it, and so they had to move for that Sunday.
That's crazy.
And it was their 3-year anniversary, so they actually moved down to the building, which was just right down the street where they started, which was pretty cool. Anyways, so we didn't find this out. You had to go to their website, and it was just on a random blog post on their website, but you had to scroll through a lot and read a lot.
Like that's something you probably wanted it as a pop-up.
Yeah.
Hey, this Sunday.
You wanted it on Facebook. And there was no post since February on Facebook. And I was like, wow, this is bad. So anyways, we found it, and it was a good sermon. But one of the things was Jesus had escaped to Tyre, and he was trying to get away. Like he went with the purpose of getting away and not doing ministry because he just wanted rest. He wanted to go somewhere where he was unknown. People weren't going to be bombarding him like they were in Galilee. I believe, so this is that part of that spiritual knowledge that I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm pretty sure this is the only time Jesus left his region, like the area, and left his country. And he left his country to get away because he was like, oh, no one's going to know me up here. They have different beliefs. My name hasn't traveled this far. Right. Well, unbeknownst to him, his name had traveled that far because he gets up there and a lady comes and finds him and asks for healing or asks for a miracle or something. I forget. Again, I'm not a biblical scholar. And you
get paid by the government for your memory loss.
Exactly. And so I should have done more research on this. But anyways, we see Jesus. He is wanting to get away. And so that made me, a thought pop up. Wow. Okay. We know rest is biblical, but this is Jesus himself trying to get rest. And so we see Jesus is tired and vulnerable and just wanting to get away. And so that's kind of, I wanted to talk about that. And of course, I did do a little bit of research on this. Before I pour into it, Dusty, I kind of wanted to get your take on it.
As an introvert, I love the idea of resting and getting away. And I could probably lean to the idea of a godly rest or spiritual rest too far to where it's a problem for me, and then some people probably are on the opposite, that are like, go, go, go.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of time on this earth. We need to, reach as many people as possible. Blank.
Right. Capitalize what little time we have.
That seems to be my belief about most things when it comes to like drinking and rest and tithing and all that kind of stuff. Is like there's like a balance. Like you can give too much money and it becomes like that your heart thinks that you're like doing good based on how much the better giver you are or how much the better server you are. And the Bible talks about how like that it can be like in a result of like your spirituality and where God's been taking you. And like, obviously you would want to be more of a giver financially, physically, all those kind of things. But at the same time, sometimes you see that that's how people live, that their hearts have been changed. And so you just do the action instead of the heart change, I guess is maybe what I was trying to take a long way of saying. But man, I was thinking about this because, you know, I like to go on hiking trips and go to the mountains and stuff and just
a lot.
How refreshing that is to have a vacation. I know like a lot of people don't get vacations like that, especially, you know, so I'm blessed to be able to do that. I don't have like 6 kids that I'm trying to take on a vacation, and then that's not a vacation for the parents, you know? Like,
yes.
So I do have like some ability to feel like maybe some of the things that Jesus felt when he got away for a sabbatical. You know, I did look up a few different times where it says in the Bible that Jesus rested. And so I think the important thing we need to discuss is there's a difference between just taking a physical rest and a spiritual rest and like what that means.
Right.
Because I think for us, when we say, hey, rest, it just means like, don't do anything, just kick back, watch football all day. Like that's rest. And I don't think that is what God is saying, like, draw near to me and I will give you rest.
So it's funny because that is rest, but that takes a heavy emotional toll on most men and some women when they sit down to watch football. So it's not really rest because your mind, if you're invested in those games, your emotional state is not getting a rest. And so...
Okay. Well, I listened to a Craig Rochelle sermon.
Yeah.
So you're pinging this idea that I had recently heard, which was that he went to a counselor and was talking about, you know, basically being filled because he's being drained, like being in ministry.
Yes.
Like when you're a pastor, it's a lot like owning your own business where you can't ever shut it off.
Right.
And you take your work home. Some people have jobs where, like my wife had a job where she got home and she couldn't rest. She's constantly thinking of more work that she would have to have and how draining that was to have something like that.
And also at that time, your wife could have gotten a call at like 7 p.m. Especially from like my wife. And, hey, can you help me with this issue?
Yeah. And it is an important issue to fix. Like, it's not like it wasn't like this can't put off till tomorrow type situation. And so having those kind of jobs and that kind of lifestyle where you can't ever check out sucks, you know? Yeah. And like, even me, like there's a part of my job where it's like, I was feeling like that. And he's like, no, like, I might as well own my own business and, you know, be the guy if I'm going to have to, you know, be the guy in and out of.
So I do need to interject. It does suck for introverts mainly. Extroverts don't really mind that. And I'm saying this, I am an introvert, but I feel I'm coming back into my extroverted self. I am getting more comfortable with getting outside and talking to people. But I do have one of those jobs where I can't turn it off. And I actually don't really mind it. I don't feel that drains me. Really what drains me is essentially being taken for granted.
But that can't be this.
It can
be the same. Like if you have a boss that could also do the thing after hours, but is calling you to do it and puts the stress back on you while he's on a boat.
So you're right. Yeah. When my boss does it, yes, it's different. But when a client calls me directly, for some reason, that's not.
It turns into your servant brain,
right?
And there's so much that I'm just
pinging right now. Yeah,
like just throwing out there and no structure, but because there was something Craig Rochelle said something about like Jesus giving you rest isn't, you know, doing ministry with Jesus's purpose in mind and Jesus with you is not something that's usually taxing. And I think that's a lot of pastors when we talked about burnout.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't be burned out if you're with the Lord.
Right.
And there is truth to that. Like that you can't, like if you're doing like your calling, that doesn't feel like work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's not stress there. But let me go back real quick to, so Craig Rochelle was talking about how as a pastor, like he's just had so much anxiety, couldn't sleep a lot. And so he went to counseling and his counselor was like, basically like, you're draining yourself, but you're not feeling yourself. And so what he had suggested was, because your job is so mentally taxing, you need to go do some physical stuff. And so that's why he started taking up like MMA, like wrestling, stuff like that, like Taekwondo or whatever it was. He's got his pilot's license. Like he was doing physical things that didn't take, I mean, pilot's license would take some brain work, but physical things that would like make him, he's like, I'm not thinking about the church and what the church needs done while some guy's trying to beat me up.
Right.
you know, like my brain's able to finally check out for just a little bit. And he was just talking about the importance of that. That made me think, because I always like laugh about the difference between beach people and mountain people. You know, beach people, like, how can you go on a vacation and just like lay around and do nothing like that? How's that fun for more than 2 days? You know, is my thought process. And then I go hiking, and it's like, and so I think for me, like, because a lot of my job is mentally taxing, you know, that, yeah, it's fun to just get out, go see like mountains, and like that's one thing, but then also to like hike the mountains is a completely different. Like, I'm not thinking about work while I'm hiking mountain. You know, I'm trying to survive.
What's funny is I would be more on the beach. I like both beach and mountain, but I am more the beach, where I do just kind of want to lay there, because to me, hiking is taxing mentally, physically, and emotionally.
But you're a guy that does a lot of physical labor for people as part of your servant. That's what I was trying to say. It's like you do a lot of physical labor, so you probably would enjoy
not doing
being
anything.
able to like let your body recoup and stuff like that. So
yeah, plus on those like the mountain trips, I'm driving 12, 13 hours a day, and then either going right into a hike, or the next day we're hiking and then getting ready to leave right after that. So yeah, you're right. Man, with what you're saying, it's making some things click in my head, which is great, because, you know, when you said that that's your servant brain, because it's not taxing when I'm helping people. It's taxing when, like I said, I'm being kind of taken advantage of when someone else can do it, but they just don't want to do it. And so then they're putting it off on me.
Right. And then you see them on Facebook later and like, oh, they couldn't do it
because they were doing XYZ. Right. Rather than doing what they should have been doing.
Like, yeah. I'll say a story, because my boss doesn't listen to this podcast. And if he does, he knows he's a jerk sometimes. But so like it was Father's Day. I'm on vacation. I'm like, you know, where am I? In the mountains. I was in Utah, in the desert. It's Father's Day. Big storm comes through, right? We got a client that does dumpster rental, stuff like that. So like, obviously wants to crank up the ads a bit. Right. Because one, he's local, so he wants to be able to provide, and you've got all these outside people that are going to start coming in. So I get this, you know, text, which I'm like 2 hours behind. So that's like 9 a.m. They're texting me at 7 a.m. You know, I need these ads. I need to. And what I really hate is people who send me exactly word for word what a Facebook post needs to say. Yes. Like, just put it, just post it, just bro. Do it. Like, what are you doing? Why are you sending it to me?
You clearly had time to write it and send it. You could have done the exact same thing by opening up your app.
How about you write this in Facebook and hit post? Yes. You know, like, that's so dumb. But then also that's job security. So you gotta balance it. All right. I'm getting text, stuff like that, and I'm getting that sent to me, and then my boss is like, I'm in a Father's Day thing, sorry, like I'm at church. And I'm like, yeah, it's Father's Day for me too, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
you're like, I was a father first. Shut up. Go away.
Like, exactly. It's like, I'm an old, like, I got the seniority on you, but no. And so like, but he couldn't do it because he was doing this thing, but didn't have any regard for what I was doing. Right. You know, like, oh wait, I'm on vacation as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
not only am I a dad, but I'm on vacation.
Yeah. So. And like, I work quite a bit when I'm on vacations as it is. And so it's just more of like, it was just like, I remember that being like a triggering moment. Like, oh my gosh, like you can't do this. You had enough time to text me in church what it needed to say, but you couldn't go post it.
Yep. So my boss does that a lot too. I swear he knows my day. I've had Thursday off since almost the beginning of time, right? I swear he saves every task for me to do until Thursday. Yeah. And then sends them all to me. And then gets upset when I don't respond right away.
He probably has scheduled emails.
I feel he does.
Go out on Thursday.
But they're text.
Well, you get scheduled text now.
Like, I was out on the golf course yesterday playing in a... anyways, it doesn't matter. While I'm out there, my phone is blowing up with work. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It is Thursday, and I'm on the golf course, so double leave me alone. He didn't know I was on the golf course, though. So, but let's bring this back. We've talked about a lot of great things, but don't want to stray too far. Because one very important thing I want to say, and it's kind of, we've already hit it just a tad bit, is although Jesus went to Tyre, he went to the land of the Canaanites, which are, the Gentiles, he was still open for ministry. Mm-hmm. He was trying to get away and get rest, but as soon as the need arose, he jumped on it. And he did minister to, again, it was a Canaanite woman, I'm 99% sure, that came to him. And so he didn't, just because he was resting, he didn't shut off or shut down and completely close himself off. Yes, although we need rest, stay open, keep that mindset open, just be flexible. In the military, we call it Semper Gumby, and so always flexible.
I was always taught by a man that said improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm pretty good at those kind of stressful situations where, yeah, it might be stressful. Like stuff's going wrong on a Wednesday night because it's the first time we've ever done this, and there's some communication mishaps, bing, bang, bong, that, I don't like... Yeah, easy. Okay, yeah, we'll move this video here, no problem. And some people will react like, oh my God, how are we gonna do? Oh my God, how are we gonna move this? And I'm like, come on, guys, like it's like that's not what we freak out about. Like it's other things, but I've always been taught that pretty well, like to be even keeled. I wanted to bring up how there's a few things that it talks about Jesus physically resting and spiritually resting.
A lot in Mark. So Mark talked about it a lot.
Yeah, Mark 1 talks about after a busy day of healing, it says very early in the morning while it's still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, went off to a solitary place and prayed. And in Mark 6, because so many people were coming and going, they did not even have a chance to eat. He said to his disciples, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and rest. He rested during the storm. We all know that. There was plenty of times, like in Luke, it talks about him getting away from the crowds, like the news spread all around, the crowds, people came near him, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Yeah. Jesus went to a mountainside and spent the night praying to God in Luke chapter 6. And then this was Luke 10 and John 12 talks about how Jesus regularly stayed in Bethany with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, and suggests that was a place that, was a restful place for him to go to. Like they had.
Yeah, those are just friends. He can decompress. He can hang out. He can also minister.
And Jesus kicked off his ministry with a 40-day sabbatical. Right. Like he hadn't even started yet. And we hear a lot of times. You can't say that
because he was preaching in synagogues when he was 8. So his ministry started earlier than the 30 that.
But there was a physical kickoff point for his ministry side of things, and he kicked that off with the 40 days in the wilderness. There is a difference though, because I was looking at because pastors take sabbaticals, and the average sabbatical is 3 months.
Yes.
Some can go up to 6 months of basically paid vacation is the only way really to put that. And it's a time of resting, it's recouping, it's taking away a little bit of the physical taxing. I don't know how much they take away from, if it's everything.
Well, ours was. When Rusty went on his sabbatical, he wasn't allowed to take phone calls or text messages. He wasn't allowed
so he
to
wasn't around to any kind of operation stuff. Right. Okay, so it's just like a way of reset, which is what going and camping in the mountains does for me on my daily life or my yearly life, I guess. But
I think Rusty even had to get a new phone number at that point so that people couldn't reach out, and he wasn't allowed to give it out.
That's pretty aggressive, but that's the call of a pastor. Your phone's always ringing.
Yes.
That's why Craig says, I can't answer my phone when I'm flying in a airplane. Like got time to get away from everything. And so, but there's a modern day sabbaticals. They advertise recovery after years of service. A lot of times it's like after your 5 year, you get like a 3 month. Maybe after your 10 year, you'll get like a 4-6 month something. Just kind of gives that physical and spiritual recovery. And then Jesus' wilderness retreat was more of like a spiritual commissioning. It was like preparing himself for what was to come. So there's a difference of why they took the sabbatical. But I do believe that those things are super important, because I think with just physically how taxing it is, to not really take breaks and not rest, physically how much your body doesn't recover. You're more likely to get sick. And then it's one of those things, if you don't take a break on things, it actually just makes you less efficient. And that's not better.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
How's a less efficient person better than you taking good breaks at least once a week? Honor the Sabbath at the very least, and literally don't work. Literally don't do physical things. Let yourself take a full break.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, think about a lot of people in our church. This is their lifestyle, and I say this, and I don't even have the kids to run back and forth to school every day.
Right.
I saw some TikTok that was hilarious for this comedian. He's talking about he has 3 kids. Each kid goes to a different school, so he's got this kid home, this kid home, this kid home. Then they got to pick them back up, and then they got to take them to their practices. You know, and it's just like, he's like, I'm a professional Uber driver. I'm doing 20 trips a day, or an Amazon driver or something, because I'm doing more stops than Amazon does on their more regular day. But yeah, just like the lifestyle. So like for us, we have Sunday, right? So if I served Sunday, so that's 5-hour block of serving that I did on Sunday, technically a day off, blah, 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 blah. But then Monday, you got house church. So that's a couple hours for house church. Then Tuesday, a lot of people are involved in the prayer night. Tuesday, we have Tuesday prayer nights at our church. And so then you have that block of time. Then Wednesday, you have church block of time, which is like from another 4 hours, 5 to 9, basically. And then you got, there's a young adult ministry now that's meeting on Thursdays. And so if you think about, like, you have, like, there's some people that do all of those things.
Yes.
And just think about the go of that, and like how that can become physically taxing and then become spiritually
And then what
taxing.
you don't see is they're doing all those, but then they're also doing other ministry stuff behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. They're not just showing up.
Right.
To those things.
Well, and I'm saying this because my daughter is starting to do this, but now she's also interning with our church. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing that. And so really they have no break at all. 7 days a week, it seems like.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Trump hands. That's weird. But you're right. You need to at least keep the Sabbath holy and not do something one day, which is nice that our pastor, that's the contract of the church is a 6-day work week. Mm-hmm. 7th day is Sabbath, and he wants you to observe the Sabbath and not do any work on that 7th day.
And I will reiterate that the Sabbath just isn't a day to sit and watch football.
Right.
Like, Jesus withdrew and prayed. He withdrew and sought the Lord. And I think that's like the difference between how I like try to do it is like, I just want to rest physically, but I forget that I also need to rest spiritually
and emotionally.
And so that's where I think I do the resting wrong.
Honestly, I feel it's more important to rest emotionally than it is physically. Cause like when I take a day off, like yesterday, I'm golfing. That's not wearing me out. What's wearing me out is the emotional, the thought, the mental process of, I have to do this. I have to do this. What am I missing out on? That's where you really have to check out.
Well, there still is the physical health side.
I agree. There is. But we're not saying to go lay in bed for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You still do something. You still have to keep your mind active, and it's easier to keep your mind active if your body's active.
Okay.
You just need to check out of what is taxing you.
Gotcha. So the argument for godly rest is one, Jesus or God created the earth, rested the 7th day.
Is there really an argument?
Okay.
You say there's an argument, but is there?
I'm just saying like both sides of the argument, I guess.
Again, is there an argument, Dusty?
Shut up. Shut your mouth, Andrew. So Genesis, God rested. It's interesting. On the 7th day. It's interesting to hear that, and not like, why did God decide to put that in? Like, why is that such an important
note to add
in this story? If the creator of the universe modeled rest, then it's not a weakness to rest. I guess it's an obedience when we do take a rest.
Yeah, and here, the very first chapter. It's not the first. I believe that was chapter 2, right, when he finished and rested. So at the beginning of literally the Bible, we see that God is resting. Now we do see all the work he did, but then. So yeah, he is being an example and essentially giving you permission up front to rest. The
10 Commandments, we have remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, and that's where you're saying there is no argument. The rest is not optional; it's a part of our rhythm,
right?
With God. Jesus encourages rest in Mark to come to me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. So even in ministry, Jesus told his disciples it's important to take steps back and not just
Sounds like you're giving the cliff notes of the Bible.
I am, yeah. Spiritual rest in Christ, Matthew 11. I did a little bit of research, okay? Come to me, all you are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Rest isn't just physical, it is found in Christ's presence. Some people would say, well, this is the argument again. So there's urgency in the mission. John 9:4. As long as it is day, we must do works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no man can work. So basically it's saying you rest when you're dead. That's what a lot of people say. I'll get rest when I die.
I've said that a lot.
Yeah. Paul's example of tireless ministry, like 2 Corinthians 11:27, Paul describes often without sleep in toil and hardship. The early church leaders sometimes worked beyond their physical comfort for the sake of the gospel. The disciples, 3 discipleship calls for self-denial. Luke 9:23, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, follow me. And some argue that prioritizing rest can be seen as indulging in yourself over self-sacrifice. And I agree with that point. If we're just doing it to just not do anything or be lazy,
right?
There's a difference between being lazy and having rest. And
right. So that's what I was saying earlier. You don't just stay in bed 24 hours.
When I heard this argument, though, I was like, when it comes to like the urgency, also remember that those people did not live very long. Their ministries were very short. A lot of them were murdered. But
I was going to say, because those guys actually did live longer than us, but
not these guys.
You're right. These guys, yeah, because mainly they were murdered.
Right. Yeah. But just the physical toll that's going to take on you if you're not getting rest, which means your body's not recouping and you're just continuing to push through, you're probably going to die
of murder.
Your ministry is going to be less, I think, because you're physically exhausted and you're going to rely more on other people to do your work because you're not getting rest yourself. And you're
like a mercenary evangelist?
Like a mercenary evangelist. Call back. Good job, Andrew. All right. So I think it is very important to rest, but not be lazy. And I think that's where people get it wrong, like myself. I like to be lazy. I like to complain when I have to do work.
All right, don't forget that thought, because I'm going to throw in a shout out real quick to Emma because she listened. And if you are hearing this, go ahead and shoot us a text and I'll go ahead and get you that gift card. Finish that, Dusty.
I thought you were going to give her a gift card when she listened. So if she'd listened.
Well, no, we told her she had to find that when she found the shout out.
Oh, so she hasn't found the shout out.
Right.
So was she just hitting play and leaving?
If she don't get the shout out, she don't know about it.
Okay, so you're giving her a second chance.
Yes, yeah. Because that one was so long ago, I don't even know which episode it was.
I think it was the summer break. It was something about summer.
I agree, but I'm not 100% certain. So if she finds this one, I'm only doing it once.
Just Emma, throw it in ChatGPT and have it read the transcripts and look for your name.
Anyways, go back to you being lazy, Dusty.
Well, I was just saying that for me, that's where I can get the spiritual rest wrong. I'm looking at rest as being lazy, and I think rest is more of stopping what you're doing physically, so you can physically rest, but you need to also, like, that's a good time to take a stat, put things in perspective, focus on the Lord. What have you look back at what He's done for you this week? Because a lot of times we just like to push through, and we don't ever take a look back at what God has been there with us the whole week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why are you smiling at me?
Because I was thinking, all right, Emma, text the code word marshmallow. And I'll just know to go get you a gift card.
Oh, my gosh. Marshmallow.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at your lamp up there, and it kind of looks like a marshmallow. Or a bunch of marshmallows.
What?
And so
this is a prime example of when you don't have enough sleep, that you go golfing and you're like, I'm totally resting, and you look at a lamp and now you're hallucinating. Thanks for listening, subscribing, commenting, and text Andrew Marshmallow for a free gift card, apparently.
No, just Emma. And go get some rest, guys.
Go get some rest, but don't be lazy.
Take it easy.